Today's Chicago Bears Mailbag is presented by Manscaped. Get the best, and I do mean the best, men's grooming products in the world at manscaped.com. Promo code BEARS20 to get 20% off plus free shipping. Let's start our mailbag off with this question from the Bears. What is a great wide receiver we can get in the second round? I think guys like David Bell, George Pickens out of Georgia, Bell out of Purdue, obviously. Could Jamison Williams out of Bama slip to round 2? Maybe. John Mechie might be a little too rich for the second round. He might be more of a third-round guy, another receiver out of Alabama. I don't think a Treylon Burks has fallen to the second round. There's a lot of good receivers in this draft. Jahan Dotson out of Penn State, someone who could be there at 39. So that's a list of some names, but I'm sure some more will emerge as round 2 targets. Khalil Smith, rumors say that Quinn and Mack are in the future plans with Chicago. Is that true? Well, Alan Williams certainly talked highly of both of them, said he thinks they both have a lot of football left, that they're both tremendous players. I think that Ryan Poles will certainly listen and see what trade offers are out on the table, but he's not going to trade these guys just to trade them because you don't save a ton of money by saving either. You only save like $3 million if you trade Khalil Mack. You would trade him for draft capital. And with Robert Quinn, you save, 4.5 or so. So again, unless you're getting good draft capital, you might as well just keep these guys. Daniel says, what is the floor and the ceiling for the Bears next season? That's a good question. It's hard to answer this without seeing how the offseason goes, free agency draft, etc. I'll just spitball. The floor is probably like five wins, 5 or 6, but the schedule's easier than last year, at least on paper. So I'd say 5 to 6 wins is the floor. I think the ceiling, if things get blown up there, Rodgers retires, gets traded, whatever, they don't bring back Adams and the Smiths as well, I think the ceiling is you win this division with 11 wins. I think you're probably somewhere in between that. Maybe you're around 8 or 9 wins, 9 and 8, maybe you sneak into the playoffs, but I think that's kind of where the floor and ceiling are. Obviously, Fields is the X factor. If he comes out and plays like a top 10 quarterback next year, this team could do even more. Brad Danny, would you trade Roquan Smith for 2 first-round picks? It would, man. I'd have to be overwhelmed to trade Roquan Smith because this guy's just a cornerstone player to me. He's an absolute freak of nature. I think after Justin Fields, and he's definitely more proven than Fields, but he's the most valuable piece on this roster. Now, Fields could be a bust and not turn out to be that guy, but I'm just in terms of if Fields ends up being good, he's easily your most valuable piece. Roquan's already there. He's already a really good player, and I still think he can get better. 2 firsts would be appealing, but then you got no linebackers. So I don't think he gets traded. I think he's going to be a part of the future, and I think they're going to extend him this offseason. What do you guys think? What would you do with Roquan Smith? What should the Bears do? Type T for trade him. Type E for extend him. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, go ahead and scroll down to the pinned comment and reply with a T or an E. Lucas praying, unpopular opinion. Appreciate the super chat, by the way. I would actually like Rodgers to stay in the division. What better way to show your dominance by taking ownership back from Rodgers? Look, I mean, that should be the approach if he stays. I'm not sitting here begging for him to leave. I'm just bringing up the possibility that still exists that he could leave. Yeah, you shouldn't, just enter the season well, if Rodgers is there, we got no shot on winning the division. That's a garbage mentality and a non-winning one, and Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus won't stand for it, so I promise you that. So yeah, I mean, you want to take your best shots at them. I'm simply saying if those guys are there, it's going to be hard to pick against them until someone takes the division away. But that doesn't mean the Bears can't do it. I think it's definitely a possibility. Sangray Kim, $5. Burrow got to the Super Bowl with a historically bad O-line and an incompetent head coach. Sound familiar? Buston would never be our dream QB that rises from obstacles. Well, Sangray will continue to agree to disagree. So Zach Taylor just sucks. I mean, he comes from the McVay tree. Sure, things took off with Burrow, but guess what? You need a good quarterback to win in this league. I don't know what to tell you. He was trotting out washed Andy Dalton and, Ryan Finley before then. Yeah, they're not going to win. By the way, it's not just Burrow. They have 3 top 25 receivers with Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. Their defense got much better, Sangray Kim. Believe it or not, the Bengals' defense was about as good, maybe even better statistically than the Bears this year. That's not made up. They played really well this year. So we'll see what happens with Fields. I believe in him. Clearly you don't, and hey, that's okay. It's an open dialogue here at Bears Now. Michael Ortman, what about Gallup? He may be available because Dallas needs to decide between him and Cooper. Dallas can potentially keep all three, but I do tend to agree. I don't think they will with CeeDee Lamb in there as well. Lamb's not going anywhere. He's under contract. So is Cooper, but they could cut him or trade him to save money. I think Gallup's a possibility. Obviously, torn ACL throws a wrench into it, but for the right price, I would certainly consider signing Michael Gallup. I think he's a good number 2 receiver in the NFL. Something that's the number 1 products in their industry, that is Manscaped with their men's grooming products. I love their all-new Ultra Premium collection here. It includes body wash, shampoo and conditioner, lip balm, deodorant, and body spray as well. Put on some of their lip balm today before today's show because in the wintertime you wake up, sometimes your lips are a little dry, can be a little bit chapped. You just put a little bit of that on as well. Comes with 3 tubes of this stuff, and they use natural, healthy ingredients with their products as well. Also, their all-new deodorant. I won't name names, but someone in the office is like, man, I've been trying different deodorants, hadn't been working well. They got going with Manscaped, and boom, they are good to go. Go check out the Ultra Premium collection for 20% off, only $39.99 right now, usually $49.99. Use promo code BEARS20 when you go to manscaped.com. You'll get 20% off. Go check out all these products. I think this Ultra Premium collection is one of their most exciting new products in quite a while. All right, let's keep it moving here. RJ King Shark, they need to get an extra cornerback and a center because Kendall Vilder and Sam Mustipher are not the answer. Yes, I agree with on both of that account. If you're watching live, we'll have my Bears perfect offseason 5 steps to improve this team and make the playoffs. Yes, you need to improve corner, and Sam Mustipher cannot be your starting center next year. I completely agree. Alan Mack, if Chris Olave, Zion Johnson, Tyler Linderbaum are all there at 39, who are you taking? Man, I would probably just take Olave, figure out the rest later. If you can team Fields up with someone like that, someone he already knows, the chemistry's already there, then you don't need those, sure, you're going to have a lot of reps with him still, but, you can, skip the, training wheels phase, right? When you're working with a new player, when you get a new job, if you take a job that you've already worked in that industry before, you don't really need to get trained on. Chris Olave has played with Justin Fields for 2 years. You draft him, you're good to go. Now, Zion Johnson is a guy I really like. I like Linderbaum as well, but, man, if you can get Chris Olave here, figure out the line elsewhere. I think that would be an exception, even though I think O-line is probably a bit of a bigger need. Quinn for DPOY. Should have gotten some votes. Sign Charvarius Ward because we need a corner, and Poles is familiar with him. I like you mentioning the connection there. Ward's had an interesting career in Kansas City the last few years. 2019 played really well. 2020 fell off a cliff. And then this year played really well again. So I like him. He's a physical man corner. Sure, he gets beat sometimes, but he can play man. He can play zone. I think the Bears will play mostly zone, so we'll see how his fit is in this system. But I would take Charvarius Ward at the right price. I think he's like your textbook plug-and-play number 2 corner in the NFL. Johnson on the other side, and then you figure out nickel. Maybe Thomas Graham's your starting nickel. Sangray Kim, trade Bustin Fields in a second for Russell Wilson. Seahawks say no, number 1. And I don't think the Bears would do that either because then you got to take on a lot of Russell Wilson's cap, and you got other needs. Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback. If you can't accept that, I don't know what to tell you for this year. Take a year off, but for at least 2022, Fields will be the quarterback of this football team. Twin Quiz, $5. NFL should provide compensatory picks after a regime change to protect teams from guys like Pace who trade away all future draft capital for free agents. I think it's a good idea. I really do. Pace did a few things last year I didn't like. He did some salary cap crap where, with Andy Dalton and Jimmy Graham, where they're both going to have dead cap hits this year while neither is going to be on the roster. I mean, it's just brutal. I think that could be a nice little addition. You get a third-round pick if you change regimes. Now, there should be some protections, you shouldn't be able to fire a coach and a GM after 1 year just to get a pick. But if they've been there for at least 3 years, like Pace and Nagy have, then yeah, I think that I think that'd be a good idea for the National Football League. Who do you guys think is going to win the NFC North? Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions. Type GB for the Green Bay Packers. Type FGB if you F and hate the Packers. Type CHI for the Bears. Type MIN for the Vikings. Or type DET for the Detroit Lions. I know you're watching Don Berg. You can't stay off this channel. Next up, got a couple more questions here. Appreciate the super chat from Welke. Any chance we keep Robinson, sign Christian Kirk? It's like a half a smoking J for me. There's a chance you keep Allen Robinson. I'll put it at less than 10%. I don't think it's very likely at all. Christian Kirk, I think, is a possibility. I think the Bears, what they could do in free agency is sign like 2 mid-tier receivers instead of swing big for like a Godwin and Adams, although I would love both those guys. What if you got like a Christian Kirk and a Juju or someone like that? Neither are great, pure number ones, but you package those guys with Darnell Mooney, you got 3 pretty good receivers at that point. So I think that's a possibility. Some guy, I would prefer John Mechie over David Bell. Mechie routed Roger McCreary in the Iron Bowl, cornerback at Auburn. David Bell played Big Ten corner, see the difference. Sure, Big Ten has really good players, though. I mean, it's not like the fall off from the SEC to the Big Ten is a mountain. The Big Ten's really good. They have a lot of NFL talent there. But, yeah, look, Mechie stylistically might fit what the Bears want to do more. More of a kind of quick twitch, speedy guy than a guy like David Bell. Now, Mechie's coming off the injury as well, so that factors in. But I like both these players. I think drafting a receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round is definitely a possibility. Make sure you guys give me a follow on social media, both on Twitter and Instagram, at HGramNFL, at HGramNFL. Give me a follow right there, and you can always slide in my DMs as well. Catch up on all things Chicago Bears football.